Good day, and thank God for provision. Thank God for keeping us alive. It's another blessed day. Welcome to this our platform, the Case Consulting and Training. Here we edify ourselves on life challenges, especially on addiction, relationship, and marriage. I am Masaki. Today we'll talk about something, and before we go to the topic of the day, I will ask each and every one of us to please subscribe and push that bell beside the subscribe button for notification at any time that a new video comes up. You know, when you do that, it makes us understand that these videos are impacting your life. It's a place for us to get feedback and gives us that courage and that needed drive to go further. We'll talk about something that always comes on in many times that I've had sessions with people, and it's a very interesting topic today. It is on long distance relationship. Is it a yes or a no? My personal opinion, it's no if you don't have the stamina for it. And the truth is, many people don't have it. But let's go further. There are 3 types of distant relationship. 3 types. The one is when you meet somebody online. You've never seen that person. You met that person and you were starting a relationship from a distance. That's one. Another one is you met that person before, maybe was your schoolmate, your classmate, or staying in the same area. You knew that person and you never had a relationship. Then there might be the person traveled or something and you both bumped into each other and start talking. Yeah. Then the third is when you have been dating somebody or you're married to somebody and circumstances, the person had to travel maybe for education or greener pastures, anything that you want to put, and you're separated for some time. So those are the 3 categories that we'll find in there. But before we go to detail on these, I want us to understand something that we all must know. It's the 5 love language. Goran Chapman brought about this whole idea of the love language. And you have the first language is spending time together. That's the first language that all of us need to know. You need to know your partner's love language. The first is spending time together. Now, some of us like to spend time together. You want to feel each other. There is somebody that wants to feel each other. I want to feel my partner. I want to feel my friend. I want to feel my boyfriend. I want to feel my girlfriend. You need that time together. That intimacy is what you need. That is your love language. That is what keeps you in the mood. That is what you want. That is the first. The second is physical touch. Some people love that physical touch. I can't get on a relationship without touching my partner, without hugging my partner, without having my partner by my side. You see, physical touch is one of them. Some people, their love language is physical touch. Others is affirmation. Affirmation, that's appreciation. To appreciate each other. You have to appreciate somebody. You give them compliments, tell them the things that they do, if it is right or wrong. You make them understand that they are belonging, because affirmation to some others, their love language, it makes them have confidence in themselves and makes them understand that you value them. That's affirmation. Then the other is act of service. Acts of service might be especially in the household, house chores. You see, their love language might be that you like to find your partner help you to do something at home. Help you at home. Might be help you cook, might be help you taking care of the kids, might be help you do groceries. You just want that involvement. And that is where that's your love language. That is where something in you comes up, because somebody is doing that and you find the person so special because the person does that. And the next one is gifts, material gifts. Some people, their love language is material gifts. You want gifts. You want people to give you something. You love when somebody appreciates you, give you flowers, somebody give you gifts, might be your anniversary and those type of things. You love those things. You love those things. Now, that said, you discover that in these categories, there are some that can go with distant relationship. There are some that cannot. For instance, material gifts. In a distant relationship, it's actually sweet and lovely when you have a surprise, a gift, a package from your loved one, or a bouquet of flowers, something from your loved one from another country. Wow, that is sweet. No, that one is easy when it comes to distance relationship. Now, acts of service, it's not really in the distance relationship thing. So a person whose love language, the act of service, might be advised not to even attempt that one. Now, the other is affirmation. That can be done anywhere. You can appreciate your partner anywhere, from whichever distance that person is. You can appreciate them, which that one is okay. In a distant relationship, somebody has a love language which goes in that direction. That person can cope. That person can cope in a distance relationship. Then the other one is physical touch. This is, if your love language is physical touch, then you can't involve yourself in long distance relationship. So know thyself. You have to know yourself first. You have to know yourself before you get yourself involved in this. Then the other is spending time together. That one also, you can involve yourself, spending time together, going to places and things like that. You can't. But that, again, when it comes to long distance relationship, there are some avenues that you can still spend time together. So that goes both ways. You can still spend time together, maybe watch movies together or something. There's Netflix now, you can be watching a particular thing. I'm doing that same thing and we are communicating while that is going on, talking about the movie or reading a book or a novel or something like that. Now, but when it comes to long distance relationship, well, as I've said, if you don't have the stamina for it, it's not your thing. But the first thing I want us to understand when it comes to long distance relationship is agreement. Agreement. You people must agree. You must agree. There must be agreement. And to know that there must be agreement, you must check your body language. Our body language speaks a lot. It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. The way someone talks to you, how you listen, his posture, and all those things, his gesticulation, the way he makes, the way he behaves, those things, they matter. You must look at it because it gives you a signal. If that signal is approval or that signal is disapproval or something, it gives you a signal. There's a signal that you get into it. You get from it. There's a signal that you get from it. So that one, agreement, and that agreement is very vital because you must agree on something. Might be the mode of communication, which communication moves on to the next one, which is communication. You have to agree on something, and certain issues you have to agree. Now, it comes to communication. If you are not good at communicating, please don't attempt distant relationship. You must communicate. You must good at texting. Either if you don't want to text somebody, you must make calls. You must good, because look, That is when it comes to an agreement, because agreement comes there again. Fixed times of communication. It's important. Fixed times of communication. You can decide that, okay, today, because of might be different time zones, they exist, might be along distant relationship, different time zones. You have to fix time of communication. You must be a fixed time of communication. That you know that today at 1 a.m., at 1 p from 1 to 2, 1 to 3, I have to talk to my partner. You should be self-conscious, you be time conscious, and you understand that there's a consciousness in that. So you look forward to come to talk to your partner at that time, because you know that at that particular time, I must be there to talk with him, to talk with her. It's very important. And one thing is, we do not leave all these things to chance. Communication has to be constant. Don't leave it to chance. In as much as you have to put a particular time that you have to communicate, but again, you have to communicate frequently, as possible, as often as you can. Don't leave it to chance. Don't leave it to chance. No, there's nothing like chance when it comes to long-distance relationship. You must talk all the time. There's nothing like I'm busy. Nobody is too busy. Send a text, send something, talk something. And whether you like it or not, that person will always talk to you. You must be there to receive that message. You must be there to respond. And there is no specific time that he has to talk to you. He can call you at any time. You must be self-conscious. But again, if you are that type of a person that sometimes you just want to be yourself, sometimes you don't like too much talk, you don't like too much communication, then long-distance relationship is not your thing. So you must know yourself very well. You must know yourself. Then the other thing is, in communication, you see, you people must negotiate. You must negotiate. Negotiate your time. Negotiate in every single thing you have to do. You need to negotiate. I don't want compromise. I don't like compromise. Because when it comes to compromise, it means you are losing something. It means there is something that you want but you cannot get. So you are losing something. But in terms of negotiation, both of you come into an agreement that this bond is not losing, this person is not losing, but you both come in the agreement in one accord. You must be in that particular direction. And you must be committed to that communication. There must be commitment. Commitment will come. Somebody will see. When you talk with somebody will see how committed you are. Attention. Somebody cannot be talking to you and you're doing something else, except he or she knows that at that particular point you are busy. Maybe you are at work, but just have to choose a particular time, steal some few minutes just to talk. You must gist. There must be communication. You must communicate. And it comes to what I would term friendship. The Bible tells us that marriage, he used the word companionship. Companionship is friendship. It's friendship. Somebody must be your friend. In order for you to communicate efficiently, that person must be your friend. Because with your friend, you feel free to talk. Every single thing, anything that you want to talk, your mind is free. Any subject matter, which it doesn't matter, whether it's sex or whatsoever you want to talk, whatsoever gossip you want to gossip, you have to feel free to talk. And you must be a good listener. Because when it comes to long distance relationship, you must listen to each other. You must listen. It is very important. And this brings us to one another aspect which is very, very vital, which is transparency. Transparency is very vital in long distance relationship. Transparency goes with trust. There must be trust. But I want you to understand that you cannot gain trust without scrutiny. People must scrutinize you. They must scrutinize you. Trust can be only gotten through scrutiny. That is where you build trust. So sometimes don't say that somebody is checking on you too much. No, the person has the right to. Because it's only through that can build trust. So I want us to understand that transparency thing is very important, very vital, because it is needed to gain trust. Look, that person must know your surrounding. Your partner must know who you talk to, who you are going out with. He must have 1 or 2 telephone numbers of those that he knows are your friends. So that if at one moment he tries to get to you, he cannot get to you, he will call them. Yeah, in a way, technically, he will call them to scrutinize. Technically, to find out if actually what you said is true. It is needed. If you don't want to put yourself in that shoe, then don't involve yourself in long-distance relationship. Because some people wants to know everything. Some, they are not comfortable. If you are not that type of person that can trust someone, that can give your full trust and commitment to someone, please don't involve yourself in long-distance relationship, because it needs trust. It needs trust. It needs understanding and trust. And you cannot build trust without scrutinizing. So the person will scrutinize you in one way or the other. He must scrutinize you. That's one thing you need to know. Then another thing that can keep people together is shared activities. You must have shared activities. You must play with each other. Fun. That is why we need friendship, companionship, that friendship. You need friendship in relationship because you need to be fond of each other. To keep it going, you need to be fond of each other. Your partner should be able to understand, no, at this particular time my woman is this way, at this particular time my man is this way. You must be able to know that at this time, if he's not here, he's eating at this time, at this moment it's like this. Do share things together. You can cook together. You can call, oh, I want to cook this, and let's talk about this cooking thing. There's a movie I want to watch. Let's go to Netflix. This is the title, and you are in that end, I'm in that end, and watching. You are putting shared things together, which therefore means you are building time together. You are creating a bond. You are creating a bond. That bond is what you need. When you create time for each other, you can read novels together. You can read. One person might read it, and the other will listen. You can read. You can share ideas together. So it is very important to share activity. Please, you need shared activities. You need shared activities. It brings that bonding. It brings that hope. It helps to bridge that bonding. It helps to bridge that gap. You find yourself involved with that person, despite the fact that you are separated. You find yourself involved in that person. Now, the other thing is discipline. You must develop discipline. There must be discipline. If you are not disciplined, please don't involve yourself in long distance relationship, because you need to have the stamina and the character for it. You must have it. You must have a character and a stamina. You must be disciplined. If you are that type of a person that you love touch, you love your love language, as I said, is physical touch. How do you expect to be disciplined? You will not be disciplined. Because you crave for it and something will happen. So if that is your love language, don't go for it. If your love language is act of service, just as I said, you should not go for it. It's another problem, because that one becomes a problem to you. You don't need to go for that. So there are lots of things that you need to take into consideration. You need to take into consideration. There will be temptation everywhere. But again, your partner will scrutinize you, because it is needed to gain trust. Scrutiny is needed to gain trust. Whether we like it or not, it's needed to gain trust. So it is something that we need to know. Nowadays, we've gone to social media. So many people have met their spouses or met WhatsApp online. But let me tell you something. There is something that you also need to discuss before I come into this. Because the next thing that you need to do is, there must be a planned end. I've talked about agreement. I talk about communication. I talk about transparency. I talk about shared activities. I talked about discipline. Now, a planned end. There must be a planned end. You must have a plan. You cannot stay, or somebody cannot be in that in another direction for a very long time. I want us to revisit the importance of marriage. Go back to the Bible. Marriage is meant to be physical. It's meant to be togetherness. It's not distance. What the Bible talked about marriage is distance. It's not distance. It's being in one particular position, which is very important. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 11 said something, and he said, You people must lie down together because your body will warm each other. It means a lot. It means a lot. NIV translation says, if two lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Now, I had to give this direct quote so that you get it. You can't keep warm alone. It means it takes two to tangle. It takes agreement. There are certain things when you can discuss when your physical presence might change something because people see at reactions. Reactions also determines the things that we do and the line that we'll move on in any direction and anything that we say. Your reaction. Our reaction is also based on the circumstance that we find ourselves. You might be giving a message, you might be talking to a partner where he or she is in an uncomfortable position. Might be with people, might be at the office. His reaction towards the message that you gave at that time might look different to you. Thereby, misunderstanding comes. Again, you people need to plan something. There must be a roadmap. You have to plan that tomorrow this thing will happen. From this time, within this time. But I tell you, long distance relationship, when it exceeds 1 year, 2 years, it becomes a problem. You have to find a means to be together. Constantly. Now, we always run into problems. Because statistically, it shows that about 40 to 50% of those that finally meet after long distance relationship, within 4, 6 months or a year, they finally separate. Why? Because in that type of in the time that you people have this long distance relationship, you create an environment different from the one that you've come to face when you are together. The environment is different. Your way of communicating will be different. Now it is physical. The situation that you find yourself will be different. All those things, your friends, those around you, all those things, they changes. You've come to a new environment. You've come to a new place. You were used to seeing that person on phone. You were not used to seeing that person get up from the bed with you. No. You are not used to see that person 24 hours around you. No. There are certain things that you did not know about the person that you came to discover. That is why when people, even you have distance relationship and you come afterwards, it ends up going bad. It goes bad because there are a lot of things that you find it different. So you must be that person that when you come back after a long distance relationship and you people have an end plan, that when you put be together, you have it is there that you need to learn each other. There are things that you need to learn. You need to relearn and unlearn at that particular time. Because that is where it starts. But you can only do that successfully if, first, your motivation is strong enough, and second, you people are friends. You create an environment. When I talk about friendship, you create an environment where you can speak together, where you can talk together, where you are not afraid to say your mind. You're not afraid to bring out your point of view, because most of us are in a relationship where we are afraid. The woman is afraid to talk because he doubts it, because he doesn't understand the reaction of the man, or because of the reaction of the man, the woman cannot talk. Because of the reaction of the woman, the man decides to be docile. The man decides, oh, I cannot talk. Because if I talk, she will shout. If I talk, she will this. You look at the reaction. The reaction changes things. The reaction changes things. And if you can react like that, hyper, we also understand that our background also has something to do with us, whether in distance relationship or not. The way we talk, our tone, on telephone, we can talk. Our tone might be different. Our pitch might be different, because they say, okay, because there is noise, I need to shout, my tone has to increase, my pitch has to go up because of telephone and things like that, because of network problem. We can understand that. But what of if you come back together, you are together. Now, you grew up from an environment where whispering is part of the way you talk gently. And another person is that type of a person that grew up from an environment where they shout, they talk loud. And when you come at that time, wow, it will scare the other person. So these small differences, there are things that you need to have to come, and those are the things that happen When finally the long distance relationship, you finally say, okay, now let's have a family together. And we should also understand that family from inception has always been together. God did not design marriage for separation. God did not design marriage for long distance. How will you have children when you're long distance? Marriage was not designed for that. Marriage was designed for you to be together. So long distance relationship, well, it depends on every single thing that I have said. First and foremost, you need to examine yourself. You must have that stamina. You must have it. You must have that discipline. You must have a planned aim. You must have shared activities. You must communicate well. You must be a person that knows how to communicate. You must accept scrutiny. And you must come into an agreement. Don't compromise. Don't compromise. Don't compromise. Negotiate. Don't compromise. Negotiate. I've had this a lot with most of the people I talk to, most of the people that come for counseling. Some are on the verge of developing a long distance relationship. Some already have a long distance relationship. Some don't know how to get along with it. So it was good enough for me to address this topic. I hope I did not come to confuse you, but I came to bring an understanding on the subject matter. Thank you very much. And may God bless us all. Remember, that choice is you. You make the choice. You make the choice. You make the choice. Know yourself before making a choice. You can only change yourself. You cannot change another person. Change has to start from you. When you know yourself, you understand yourself, then you can move further. That is why people will say that there's infidelity in distance relationship, but it's a choice. You choose to be infidel. Nobody forced you to do that. You choose to. It's a choice. That's why we talked about discipline. So I urge everyone that you are in that relationship, or that you are about to enter that relationship, or circumstances have made you to be in that relationship, to understand that there are sacrifices that you need to make. You need to know yourself, know the things that you want. Remember the 5 love languages. Remember material gifts, acts of services. Remember affirmation. Remember physical touch. Remember spending time together. Look at those 5 love languages. See where you belong. Choose wisely. Know that if some can be done with distance, they can be good with distance. Some can never be good with distance. And if you're in that particular category where it can never be good with distance, don't go for distance relationship. If you're in that category that without distance it can move, then it's good for you. So choose wisely. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.